Today, we will look to the changing profile of secretary in the modern times. The term secretary is not a new concept, it has been around for a few hundred years. The name itself comes from a Latin word secernere, which means to distinguish or set apart. The word eventually meant being confidential or secret. Secretaries have played essential roles in the workforce for a very long time, but the profession is continuously changing. It is known that secretaries existed in Rome prior to the establishment of the empire. They were actually educated men who took dictation as scribes and often acted as trusted advisors. They were always considered men of importance. Someone who did the correspondence, maintained important secret documents and were advisors to their employers. In early modern times, members of the royal families had secretaries. Men dominated this area of work in olden times. Most of them had command of several languages including Latin and were required to have a generalized education. Chanakya, a very well known name in Indian history, served as the chief advisor to two emperors, Chandragupta and his son Bindusara. He assisted the first Mauryan emperor Chandragupta in his rise to power. He is widely credited for having played an important role in the establishment of the Maurya Empire. Thus, secretaries in the form of ministers, advisors have always been there since ages. When the typewriter was invented in the 1880s, more women joined the workforce as secretaries. World War I was the turnaround for women in this industry. Many men went off to war, leaving vacant jobs which women filled eagerly. It was at this time that the shift from men to women happened. By the 1930s, there were very few men secretaries. The National Secretaries Association was established in 1942 in Missouri. The main goal of this organization was to encourage and develop professionalism amongst office assistants. In 1952, Mary Barrett, then president of the National Secretaries Association, created a special Secretaries Day to acknowledge the hard work of the women in the office. In 2000, an event, Administrative Professionals Week, was started to recognize people working in the administrative support field. The job titles such as receptionist, office manager, executive assistant, administrative coordinator or administrative assistant were commonly used for this job profile. The association is now known as the International Association of Administrative Professionals. The Indian Association of Secretaries and Administrative Professionals was established in 1970. Most secretaries were portrayed as just a pretty face in the media in early 20th century. This was not the truth. It was always a job of responsibility and tact, but only the pleasing mannerisms, smiling face was highlighted more than the responsibilities. The job and duties that secretaries have undertaken over the last 100 years have evolved into what modern administrative professionals experience today. Gone are the days when filing papers, answering phones, scheduling meetings comprise the bulk of an administrative assistant's daily routine. Today's administrative job descriptions encompass much more. Secretaries have taken on roles and responsibilities well beyond just being typists for the boss. These days, the secretary has been rebranded as an assistant, administrator or even office professional to cover the expanding responsibilities of business support staff and correct the assumptions of those who wrongly see the role as an unskilled one. As commerce and trade expanded, people of wealth and power needed secretaries, confidants and trusted agents to handle correspondence on private or confidential matters, most particularly matters of senior management. The role of the secretary thus changed over the past decades as management philosophies in the business world changed. The responsibilities of modern day secretary have changed after the Industrial Revolution. The businesses have expanded to a large extent, thereby increasing the number of people, machinery and locations. A multifunctional person is required to perform this role in modern business organizations. In present times, his existence is indispensable to any type of organization. The IT revolution has increased his responsibilities and also elevated his status to an important advisor to the management. Technical advances, new business procedures and global markets are only a few of the forces which have added to the new task for today's secretary. The typist or receptionist of yesteryears has taken the role of a secretary in modern times with added responsibilities. As computers have become a regular presence at the average office, the typing and filing that had once filled a secretary's day has diminished, leaving room for a much more and varied work, a change that eventually created the administrative professional role we are familiar with today. They have also been performing numerous clerical and administrative functions in government and business environments for centuries. The next case highlights these facts. Mr. X, a senior business manager for an advertising company, says, "It is significant that the role of the personal assistant has completely changed during recent years. The job used to be like about tasks like dictation, typing and travel arrangements. Today, it is more or less an extension of the job of the person they are working for. In many cases, they are becoming a driving force behind the organizations they work for." What this means is that they are not only seeing more private information than they used to, but they are actually involved in creating it and acting on it. This expression clearly highlights the growing responsibilities and importance of a secretary, a personal assistant in any office. They are indispensable to the offices they are working for. The present day secretaries are playing an important role in creating, keeping and sharing whenever required the important information for the office. Some functions that present day employers are expecting in the job descriptions are like knowledge of 2 or 3 local or international languages, customer service and public relations, knowledge of the specific industry or business where they have to work, financial savvy such as handling expense reports, maintaining statutory books and processing invoices, using a variety of software packages such as Microsoft Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, Access, etc. to produce correspondence and documents and to maintain presentations, records, spreadsheets and databases. Devising and maintaining office systems, booking rooms and conference facilities, using content management systems to maintain and update websites and internal databases, managing and maintaining budgets as well as invoicing, liaising with staff in other departments and with external contacts, ordering and maintaining stationery and equipment, sorting and distributing incoming post and organizing and sending outgoing post, arranging travel and accommodation for staff or customers and other external contacts, liaising with colleagues and external contacts to book travel and accommodation, organizing and storing paperwork, filing, documents and computer based information, recruiting, training and supervising junior staff and delegating work as required, maintaining statistical data and making it available whenever required, arranging in-house and external events. The role can be stressful at times since the work is always focused on the needs of the manager or the team. Deadlines may be imposed suddenly, demanding flexibility and reprioritization of workload. Now, let us look at one more example of a lady company secretary. What characteristics are necessary to be successful in the job of a chartered or company secretary? A secretary of many years with vast experience has cited some observations regarding the importance and changing role of a modern day secretary. She is a senior manager in a consultancy company who does company secretarial compliance for work for a large number of private companies. She has to manage a team of people. She emphasizes on the changes in the future. A thorough knowledge of foreign cultures, foreign languages, etc. is gaining importance due to globalization. Company law is changing rapidly. So, as a chartered secretary, it is important to keep track of the changes. The biggest challenges in this job have also been highlighted by her. The conflicting priorities become a challenge at times. There are many things to be done at the same time. Hence, setting the priorities right, delegating the work properly is necessary to avoid delays and confusion. Another important aspect is that as a chartered secretary, one has to work with quite senior managers and directors, and there can be politics involved. So, it is not always easy to achieve the objectives that have been given. Possessing tactful mannerisms and diplomatic skills can help to overcome such situations. Some of the secretary's work is quite routine in nature, for example, filing documents with the registrar, tax returns, etc. But if the work is not done on time, it can create a real problem. There are fines and penalties for non-submission of such documents. This can cause embarrassment in the business community and harm the goodwill of the company. There are a number of opportunities. Sometimes it is difficult to get the first job on the chartered secretarial ladder as the employers are looking for experience. It is advisable for a person looking at this career to get some administrative or legal experience which will be valued by an employer who is hiring a new person to this profession. This job requires hard work and determination. As other employees look to the secretary for solutions, one has to be self-motivated to be at the forefront with confidence. Thus, experiences of such people who have worked in the corporate world go a long way to provide guidance to those looking for a career in this area. Few points can be gathered from the experiences of a secretary. A modern secretary of 21st century has to be a multitasking person. The responsibilities are many. One must be able to set the priorities right. First things first. Today's businesses are going global, whether small or big. Hence, to keep up with the changing needs of the business is vital for the secretary. Knowledge on changing international laws, EXIM policies, etc. is required. The ability to understand one or more foreign language is an added advantage. It also helps us to understand different cultures in a better way. Know-how of information technology is a must. As a secretary is an advisor, implementer and coordinator, he or she should be alert while advising. The nature and variety of work one undertakes varies according to the size of the business. Large organizations may provide more routine work, but could offer more scope for promotion and experience in other departments. Some small businesses may expect the secretary to perform a very traditional administration function. Modern secretaries not only type correspondence, but also compose, research and supervise other workers and projects. They maintain public relations through extensive use of the telephone and they interact with co-workers and business clients. We will look at a few opinions of working professionals to understand the real work pressures and work balance. Ms. Cleta, a finance and customer service coordinator who has worked with an administrative professional for 21 years, suggests fine tuning of multitasking skill for those in this profession. She says, administrative assistants are like traffic police. constantly directing the flow of office traffic work. They should be comfortable in balancing several tasks at once. If they go offline, the office goes offline. It is a kind of multiplier effect. Mr. Brown is of the opinion that daily tasks include answering busy phone lines and also fixing and activating technology at times. According to him, he works at a managerial level minus the title. I am a project manager. I am a leadership consultant. Though we do have an IT department, but we do not go there necessarily for every single issue. A lot of times my bosses expect me to fix their iPad which is not working. I have to possess some sort of understanding of that type of software too. Mr. Collin stresses the need to heighten the soft skills. Administrative assistants need to not only communicate with customers and vendors, but also with executives and managers. A lot of times as an administrative professional, they have a good idea of what is going on because they are involved in so many different things. Generally, they know more about what is going on in the organization than the executive does. It is very important that they are able to communicate and see those things that are going on and discuss them when needed before the small things take the shape of a mountain. Ms. Sarah suggests mastery in Microsoft Office is highly essential. Today's administrative and executive assistants are active in the production of public presentations, which often involves preparing slides in Microsoft PowerPoint. Others are expected to maintain Microsoft Office Access databases or input Office contacts into Excel spreadsheets, etc. Admins must stay up to date on the software improvements because they change so rapidly. She recalls being shocked to meet a colleague who did not know how to use the latest software. She feels it is sad because it limits one's opportunity. In order to stay marketable in this profession and in this society and in this economy, you have to stay up to date. Ms. Jolly suggests to maintain a realistic view of your promotion potential. There is nothing wrong with aspiring to a higher job title, but often lower admins are so focused on moving up the corporate ladder that they miss the bigger picture. One cannot walk out of college and be an executive assistant level. And if you do, it is not smart to begin at a higher level if you are new to the field. She says, in her view, beginning at a lower level is the best way for administrative professionals to succeed because it gives them ample time to grasp the mechanics of the profession. You have to start out somewhere, and starting as an office clerk, an office manager or an administrative assistant, that is the level where you are going to learn. Thus, these cases of real working people highlight the importance of good soft communication skills, multitasking, never say no, know the latest technology, be realistic about your growth in the organization, start at the grassroots level. Thus, a trusted secretary or personal assistant is nowadays frequently at the heart of all essential operations. He or she can be one of the people with the best overview of the business as a whole. The job demands daily leaps from finance to logistics, from customer relations to human resources, and from technology to taxes. It is often said that nothing happens in an office that does not cross the assistant's desk. It can be very well argued that they are the ones holding the show together. The top 10 qualities of a secretary can be summed up as an organized and detail oriented nature, a person who puts the bosses and company's best foot forward, since he or she is most likely to be in contact with clients before the boss does. A mature person who answers the phone and greets his guests with a smile on his or her face. Someone who has up-to-date skills and the ability to learn new skills and procedures with ease. Knows when to keep his or her mouth shut and when not to. A good listener and gives solutions rather than speaking about the problems, and is always a few steps ahead than the other people. A person who presents a professional appearance and attitude at all times and doesn't bring personal problems to work. A quick grasper, that is, who follows through quickly and efficiently with all tasks. A person very good at spelling and grammar skills and knows how to interpret the boss's scribbles, that is, the handwriting. Let us have a look at the requirements for a secretary profile mentioned on a website for hiring interested candidates. Secretary skills and qualifications: administrative writing skills, reporting skills, supply management, scheduling, Microsoft Office skills, professionalism, confidentiality, organization, travel logistics, typing and verbal communication. This clearly shows the importance of this person in any office. He or she has to know it all. Let us consider the viewpoint of a fresher seeking the job of a secretary. After graduating, she got a temporary job at the local university in the engineering department. She was unsure where she wanted to go with her career, and hence thought it would be advisable to get real work placement added to her CV. It was a 3 weeks assignment, but was extended to 12 months as the team was impressed with her performance. When this role ended, she placed her CV online and added a short covering letter giving the details of administration roles that she had carried out. She was contacted by a local recruitment agency with an opportunity to join the sales team of ABC Company, which was a managed IT service provider. She was interviewed and got the job. She was able to carry over time management and advanced writing skills developed throughout her learning at the university. However, the technical and academic content of her degree in biological natural sciences had no relevance to her current position. The relevance of the degree to her job was minimal. Her main duties were to provide support to the sales and service account management teams, mainly through management of quotations and commodity tracking of sales and costs to the company. She also managed the purchasing within the business, including liaising with suppliers and purchase order management. Though the role started out as a sales graduate programmer, she quickly realized that sales was not a career she wanted to pursue. It is not very easy to define the parameters of our careers at the beginning itself, was realized by her. She wanted to work on a more office focused role. Thus, securing an administration role with no experience is not easy, even if the work itself does not require a high skill set. There are a large number of qualified individuals all looking for the same role, and they will be chosen over someone who is new to the field. Getting some temporary work is essential. She gained this experience through the campus placement activity. She was highly capable in using the Microsoft Office suite. This was also a key for getting into this job. The experiences of such freshers highlight a few points, such as if you are seeking a job in administration, possessing good written and oral language skills is a must. If you get an opportunity to work on a temporary or short term assignments, do take them, as they give you an insight into the working of an office. Dedication and sincerity in work leads to increase in the work assignment. First job will not be your dream job, but will open new avenues for your career. The initial years of working experience matters a lot for a good career graph. Being able to utilize the technical software is an added advantage. The role of a secretary has thus elevated from a mere typist to a multitasking important office personnel in modern times. Thank you.